So there's this sort of a discussion going on about who should pay on dates, and for some strange reason, it's always around the fact that now women can uh, be they're considered an equal, and so because they go to work and because they can make a lot of financial choices. Now, this is the thing that I have to say. Um, Growing up, I remember this very um, strange incident where I think I was about 8 or 9, and um, we were sort of traveling through the ghats and coming down this particular area in what's very typical of Karnataka. It was this bus, and the way that he was driving, I was pretty sure it was going to be my last journey. He ended up, of course, dashing into another vehicle, got down, and started screaming at the other guy. And all of us in that moment thought we were done. So my memory is of just we'd all sort of held on to the bus seat, and as I looked up, it said, um, if you think the number of people who die from road accidents, it's still lower than the number of people who are killed in dowry related deaths. Um, this was when I was 9. I'm 42 now. My generation grew up to having ads which were about if you see someone in your house or someone, anyone, burning, the right thing to do is to cover them up with a blanket. No, sorry, the wrong thing to do is to cover them up with a blanket, and the right thing to do is to douse the fire with water. Women never went to work because they wanted to be anything that is being projected. I see a lot of women, especially celebrities, movie stars, talking about how um, you should be financially independent, and that's the way women are going to be equals in society. The problem is, my generation never went to work to be financially equal or financially independent. My generation went to work because we saw dowry deaths as being a norm. We saw how, despite the fact that our moms were working 24/7, I still remember my cousin. Um, he once, very innocently, he said, "You know, my mom never goes to sleep. When I wake up, she's awake. When I go to bed, she's awake." And that's how it was. I'm saying the life of women who were at home and who were housewives was extremely difficult. I know what was thought of them, these ladies who wear nighties and go to sleep in the afternoon and they watch these cringy TV shows, things like that being said. Fact is, you got a lot of hate for what you cooked for the family you loved. You were treated as a lot of times um, there was a lot of stigma even back then about being not being able to be a financial equal, and We've seen this with our moms and our grandmothers. I've even seen this with my grandmother's generation. Now, my grandmom was extremely hardworking. She gave birth to three kids. She was one of those people who had great aspirations for her kids. So, um, my my all of her kids went to um, English medium schools, and all of them were um, given the kind of opportunities because my grandparents came here, so we are immigrants. We are not actually um, native to Bombay, and they were given those opportunities. And what was great is there still was that stigma. I actually have a memory of my grandmother's sister who would sit after a hard day's work in the night because in villages the thing is you work the field and then men go and sell whatever is produced. So I remember my grandmother's sister being so angry if whatever was the day's chaos, she would sit with her baby and I think it was whiskey in a glass. She would sit in the dark looking towards the temple, just having a conversation with God, or I don't know with whom, but she was looking at the temple. I don't know of a generation of women who have not been working. We probably were not being paid, but we have always been women who have been working. You don't get to be a woman and not pull your weight. I think there is this confusion, um, and it's more so perpetuated by celebrities because I think um, they're used to getting a lot of things for free, or they have a false sense of what feminism is. Feminism is not about being equal to a man. There is no woman who wants to be a man. I hope um, someday there is someone who educates celebrities about it. Um, Most women would like to be given all the opportunities that women deserve. They have no interest in doing what men are doing. The reason we went to work was because we were allowed to go to work. And the reason we were allowed to go to work is because people suddenly realized we can get the woman to do everything. My generation was the generation that was expected to do everything. So where I have gone to work in places that was not ready for women to be working in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the workspaces, but we went to work because we have this entire fear that was instilled that if you sat at home, you were going to be called a behenji. So all of us went to work, all of us had to put our aspirations of being mothers, of being people who had great family lives, people who had a balanced work life on hold. I remember so many TV shows that would come up which were all about the lead heroine always saying, "Oh, I don't want to get married." And what I love about Gen Zs is that they will openly tell you, or question you rather, as to why both can't be done. There is this idea now of going on dates where women should pay because they are earning. So the point I'm trying to make is no, that is not the reason. This was not an opportunity given to women. This had nothing to do with feminism. This had nothing to do with um, a change in the society. It was fear driven. Women went to work because we grew up in households where we have seen um, it was either get married, be a maid in someone else's house, do a lot of work, and still get the kind of hate and the kind of um, you would not be considered an equal in terms of buying decisions, in terms of anything. I know of women even now who are capable of going to work according to their husbands, but they're not capable of running their own accounts. So their husbands have a joint salary account with them. Can you imagine? Nothing for a woman is equal. A woman has to pull her weight way, way, way more than a man. And when one says, oh, on a date, the woman should be equal to a man, I completely disagree. The reason why a lot of men say that is because people 60% of the time go on dates, I think, just to eat and get drunk. That's expensive. So the intention never is to actually sit and get to know each other. Um, People have an aversion to um, also another reason to for women to not pay on dates is that a lot of men just want to have fun. They just want to go out. If things work out in terms of workout, I hope I'm being understood. Great. If not, they had a great meal. They got to go to a restaurant. They got to have a great time sitting across from a woman who's all dressed up. And then she has to go home because you clearly had no intention of marrying her or being in a relationship. So the idea is very clever to put down the woman and say, oh, I can't understand why women would not want to pay now that they're earning. Well, it's the intention. Firstly, women have always worked. Just because suddenly there's a generation, which was my generation, got to go and work outside the house does not change anything. Secondly, if you're courting a woman, I think it is very necessary that you pay as a man. If not, each one should pay for themselves. There's no need to split because I have seen people. I have a friend who lives in Bandra. I remember way back in the day when Bandra still made some sort of sense. I remember her telling me that I think people are just going on dates with me because I live in Bandra and they just want to explore a new place. There is a lot of exploitation going on, and this entire conversation of how I've seen even the most rudest comments coming in saying, "Oh, but तुम्हें ही काम पर जाना था ना?" No, not at all. Women now who go to work are carrying bags in front of their chests. I don't think that's a pretty sight. There is nothing that tells me women who are going to work are having a great time. It's still fear based. It's still about telling a woman what to do. It changed for my generation because we were expected to do everything. Everything. We had to go to work, we had to come back, we had to do all of the household errands. India doesn't live in Mumbai. Not everyone could afford maids. I have seen people come back and wipe their house, take care of the in laws. I know of educated people who are still getting this done. So when people say that going to work has created some sort of a financial equal, absolutely not. It was earlier also fear driven, like I said in my generation's case. It was you would get bad in laws and dowry debts, and you would have to be just a housewife, which was perfectly fine earlier. And once a man realized, no, we can get more use out of a woman, it was about sending her out. I have worked in organizations which had spent more on branding and absolutely zero in creating toilets. I have worked for an organization where all of us used to go to the closest mall to pee. India has zero infrastructure for its staff, forget its women. So there is nothing equal about a woman going to work. She was forced to go to work. It has nothing to do with feminism. I know you see a lot of women who, with their patiwala blouse and sari and holding an exhibition and talking about feminism. A lot of stars who say a woman should always be financially independent. Great. I would love to see conversations being held about creating jobs as well. I never see that. It's always about saying things that they probably saw someone, um, some Hollywood actor say, and they just want to sound clever. Fact is, a lot of us would love to go to work and have the kind of financial freedom. But like I said, India is not represented by its rich or its upper class. Indian women are living the lives that their moms lived, along with the lives of men. That's what a modern Indian woman is. So, expecting her to pay on a date should be for every other reason, but it cannot be because she finally is able to go to work and is a financial equal. She absolutely is not. Neither is it because बहुत काम पे जाने का नाटक था. I was reading this comment somewhere. No, we would have been burnt, we would have been exploited, and we would have been left for another woman. Yeah, that's all I have to say.